Welcome to Safe Again, a mind body soul reset for the depressed and tired. Module 3, Reclaiming Control. Hi and welcome. I'm so glad you made it. My name's Julie and I'll be guiding you through today's module. We'll be starting right on time. If you have any questions, feel free to jot them down and I'll answer them at the end. This is a safe, no judgment zone. Keep your camera on or off, sit, lie down, drink tea, wear pajamas, whatever feels kind to your nervous system today. Depression is like trying to run Windows 95 on today's internet. Everything is overloaded and nothing works properly. When you've lived with depression, it can feel like life's just happening to you, like you're trapped in a never-ending binge of your least favourite episodes and someone else keeps holding the remote on mute. Today we're kindly taking the remote back, maybe even changing the channel, just for a moment. Let's begin. Module 3, Reclaiming Control. In the early 1930s, a groundbreaking project in the world of radio communication took shape. The Grimsby to Sydney venture, under the guidance of the Marconi technical team, defined expectations and marked monumental achievement in wireless technology. Despite resistance from industry giants like David Sarnoff, the circuit came to life, working 12 hours a day thanks to the ingenuity of self-taught scientists like C.S. Franklin. But while the world marvelled at this technical feat, a personal storm was brewing for Peter. Growing up in the middle of this exciting era of innovation, Peter was no stranger to adversity. Beset by ill health, including rickets, the early days of success in wireless communication were marred by personal hardships. As Peter began to thrive academically, life took a sharp turn in 1931. The family suffered a crushing blow. Peter's father was dismissed from his position at Marconi. The merger of Marconi with cable companies led to significant cuts in wireless research. The family's financial stability unravelled. In later months, the family plunged into hardship, a situation that would worsen over the next decade. As the Marconi empire faltered, so did Peter's father. Unable to cope with the loss, he spiralled into alcoholism. The weight of this tragedy felt heavy on the family, and with the collapse of his father's career, Peter's own future seemed uncertain. The decision to remove Peter from school in order to save costs marked a turning point. Once a schoolboy with dreams of success, he now faced a future filled with doubt. The trauma triggered a chronic stutter, which rendered him speechless at times. In an instant, he went from being bright, hopeful student to a young man with no prospects, stranded in a world which he seemed to have no control over. It was a bitter realization, his life, once filled with possibilities, now dictated by forces outside of his control. His father's guilt over the decision to take him out of school only deepened the family's dysfunction, pushing him further into alcoholism. Peter's mother, left alone in a state of financial and emotional collapse, struggled to cope, her isolation deepening with every passing day. As a 15-year-old with no qualifications, Peter had few options. Yet a stroke of chance led him to a farm in Scotland, where he found solace in the simplicity of nature. Despite the external forces shaping his life, he found healing in agriculture, and in a quiet but pivotal moment, he regained his voice, overcoming his stutter through the encouragement of the visionary farm owner. But hardship was never far behind. In the spring of 1935, Peter's family faced eviction, forcing them to move again, this time to a cheaper farm in Cornwall. While his passion for agricultural science burned brightly, the barriers to achieving his ambition seemed insurmountable. Without proper education, securing a scholarship was impossible. But Peter's resolve didn't falter. With the connection in Oxford and the support of the visionary farm owner, he scraped together enough to attend the School of Rural Economy. It was in 1938 and war was on the horizon. As tension escalated, Peter's father began to recover, rejoining Marconi as a consultant. Realizing the war was imminent, He approached Sir Frederick in the Naval Scientific Service, hoping to contribute once again. His humble willingness to take a lower position due to his past struggles served as an example of resilience and personal growth. But by then, Peter had come to understand the true weight of external forces. His journey had become shaped by the ups and downs of his father's career, by the political circumstances of the time, and by the broader forces of the war and financial collapse. Yet through it all, he found moments of self-determination. He secured a job in the research laboratory, and that taught him invaluable lessons about improvisation, the importance of practical, inventive science, and how often it is the young and the creative minds that contribute most in times of crisis. Peter's story is one of resilience, of struggling with external circumstances beyond one's control, but still finding agency to shape a new path forward. It is the story of discovering that even when life seems to be dictated by others, we always retain the ability to choose our response. Why am I even talking to you about this? Because this isn't laziness. You're not just tired. You're carrying an invisible weight. Depression isn't a vibe. It's a full-time job with no lunch break. Because depression doesn't just go away if you nap hard enough. It sneaks into your thoughts, your energy, your self-worth, and sometimes your fridge at 2 a.m. Depression is built on confusion about control. Sometimes it feels like you have no control over anything, or you think you're in control of everything, neither of which helps you make progress. It's important to distinguish what's actually in your control and what isn't, and this clarity can help you break free from the cycle. 3, because you deserve a life that feels like it's yours again. Not one that's always buffering. Healing doesn't mean forcing positivity. It means finding little sparks of okay until okay starts to stick. It's about taking active steps, not wanting to wait for change to magically happen. A lot of healing comes from taking action, taking small, meaningful steps that challenge beliefs and patterns that keep you stuck. So let's get clear, take action, and start moving forward, because you deserve to feel in control again. What does well-being mean for you, really? When it comes to feeling low, the idea of well-being can sound far away, like a place other people live. But even in the quietest, heaviest moments, your soul remembers what it longs for. So let's ask gently, with no pressure or rush. Mental clarity. What would it feel like to have more space in your mind? Not perfect clarity, just a breath of peace every now and then. Emotional health. How often would you like to feel safe inside your own feelings? Even one moment of stillness can start shifting something. Physical health. What kind of energy do you dream of waking up with? And what would it be like to move through the day with just a little bit more ease? Resilience. How would it feel to face life's challenges without being knocked over flat every time? What if you could bend without breaking? Life satisfaction. What does a meaningful life look like to you? Not what others expect, just your own quiet version of enough. This isn't about fixing everything. It's about listening inward, your inner wisdom. However quiet it may seem, it still knows what matters. Ask yourself, what would my healing look like if it came gently? How would I feel to honor my well-being, not as a goal, but as a sacred light? In your lifetime, you've been asked to make choices, some while your heart was steady, some while it was breaking. You've walked roads you didn't choose, and still here you are. In a world full of advice, opinions and noise, there's a gentle reminder. Not all voices are meant for you. Some will speak to your fear, others will speak to your power. Your job is to notice which is which. Yes, doctors and trained professionals offer grounded guidance. Their wisdom comes from years of care. That matters. But online, anyone can sound certain. That doesn't mean that they know. That doesn't mean that they see your whole story. Ask yourself, does this advice honor who I really am? Does it feel supportive? Does it come from love? Let your heart be open to the compass. You don't have to rush. You don't have to force. You just have to stay close to what feels real. And your well-being is not a luxury. It's your birthright. About me, I'm Julie, a certified clinical hypnotherapist, a master practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming and a life coach. I specialize in working with the mind and subconscious mind to help you unlock your true potential. Let's gently remind ourselves your subconscious mind is always working behind the scenes. Right now, without you even thinking about it, your body's breathing, blinking, digesting, healing. It's quietly doing its best to keep you going, even on the hard days. That's how powerful your system is. It's working for you, even when you feel like everything's working against you. Now imagine this, if you spent all day thinking, nothing ever changes. What's the point? Your brain would start reinforcing those beliefs. It's like tuning into a radio station that only plays the same sad song on repeat. The more we listen, the more it becomes our reality. What if every time something went wrong, missing a bus, getting ghosted, feeling exhausted, you said, I see, I told you the world's against me? That kind of thinking trains your brain to believe that control is always outside of you, that life is something just happening to you. But here's the truth, your thoughts send signals to your body. When you tell yourself you're powerless, your brain responds, your nervous system reacts, your body feels stuck, tired, defeated, not because you're broken, but because it believes you. The same subconscious loop that keeps you in pain can also be rewired for peace. It starts with noticing where your power went and gently taking some of it back. Not all at once, just enough to begin. You don't have to control everything. You just have to stop giving your power away to everything. Recognizing the depression pattern. If you've been feeling stuck lately, mentally, emotionally, or even physically, you're not alone. Depression has a way of distorting how we see ourselves and the world. Sometimes it's not just the circumstances we're in, it's the patterns we've unknowingly absorbed. You might have noticed a few of these showing up since our last session. That's not a setback, that is progress. Because once we see these patterns clearly, we begin to change them. Why this matters, the benefits of noticing these patterns. Global communication style, everything in my life is falling apart. Stable attribution, this will never get better. Lack of compartmentalization, I can't separate my work problems from my personal life, it's all one mess. External locus of control, I don't have any control over what happens to me. Excessive rumination, I can't stop thinking about how much I've messed up. Cognitive distortions. I always fail, no matter how hard I try. Past orientation. I wish things were like they were before everything went wrong. Helplessness or hopelessness. There's no point even trying anymore. Internal self-referencing. It's all my fault. This is happening. So if you've found yourself thinking, everything's a mess, this will never change, pause. That voice isn't the truth. It's just a habit your brain learned while trying to protect you. This week, simply notice when one of these patterns pops up. No need to fix it right away. Just say, there's that voice again, then breathe. That moment of awareness is a new pathway forming. You are not your thoughts. You are the one noticing them. And that is where healing begins. A shift in perspective, finding control and calm within. I invite you now to join me on a journey to nurture the healing already within you. Through this guided hypnosis track, a shift in perspective, finding control and calm within, will gently rewire your subconscious, reminding your nervous system that it's safe to relax, to grow, to step into your own strength. Take a deep breath and let's begin. In the quiet of this moment, you may have noticed the weight you've been carrying, the overwhelming sense of uncertainty, perhaps the heaviness of unmet expectations, or the constant pressure to keep pushing forward, even when your energy feels drained. But what if you could step away from it just now? Could it be that the burden you've been carrying is more than just a reflection of the outside world? Could it be perhaps you're holding onto something that's not really yours to carry? What would happen if you decided to let go for a moment just to feel the space between the tension? It's easy to feel like the world's making decisions for you, like the external forces are determining your future, and maybe for a long time it's felt that way. But what if it isn't true? What if, despite circumstances, there's a choice you can make right now? What if, in this very moment, you have the power to begin shifting that wait. Take a deep breath, deeper than before, and with it feel a slight shift. Notice how the air enters your lungs, how the tension starts to soften just a little, how your body begins to ease. This simple act, this breath, it's a choice to relax, a choice to allow yourself to feel lighter, to release the heaviness. You can allow yourself to feel the shift, to feel what it would be like to step out of the old pattern and into something new. But if you take a moment to really reflect, if you were to step back just for a second, you might notice these feelings of hopelessness, of weight, of being trapped. They're not permanent, are they? Perhaps temporary. Could it be that you've been so focused on one way of feeling you've overlooked other possibilities? What if this moment of discomfort could simply be an invitation to see things from a different perspective? What if hopelessness isn't the only lens you can see through? What if it's just one angle of a whole picture? Just like a mountain, you can look at from one side convinced there's no way up until you walk around it, and suddenly there's the path. In this moment, you have the ability to decide what happens next. If you choose to hold on to these feelings, where will they take you? If you choose to let them go, just for now, what might change? What might shift? Here, you have the power to choose, to move forward or to pause. Both are valid, both within your control. The choice doesn't have to be big. It can simply be noticing what serves you in this moment and letting go of what doesn't. Now consider this. If you were to ask yourself, what do I need most right now? Could you feel the answer come from within? Perhaps an answer you didn't expect. What if joy or compassion or even a simple moment of self-love? Let's explore this further. Imagine stepping outside those emotions, those heavy feelings, and observing them, just as you would observe a distant storm. You could choose to step back, to separate yourself from them, and in this space, you have the freedom to replace them with something more nourishing, with compassion in your hands. Imagine feeling the warmth of self-love filling your body, with joy, with a sense of lightness starting to lift your spirit. With tenderness, allow yourself to hold what you need most right now. And as you do, could you notice something shifting? Maybe a sense of relief, maybe the beginning of a new perspective. Give yourself a moment. Acknowledge yourself for being here, for listening, for noticing the changes, however small. Because in this small shift, you're already moving forward. And with each small step, you're building the foundation of your internal locus of control, a powerful tool in navigating the world around you. So as you bring your awareness back to this moment, carry this sense of compassion and self-love with you. You can access it again whenever you need, not by thinking about it, but by feeling it. And when you're ready, stretch, wriggle your fingers and toes, and open your eyes. Because right now, in this moment, you're perfect, just as you are. Welcome back. Thank you. The hypnosis session you just experienced may have felt soft and subtle, but it planted something powerful, a moment of peace, a breath of space, a tiny spark of control. That spark matters. You don't have to fix everything today. You just took a step, and it's fabulous that you did that. So, this officially marks the end of Module 3, Reclaiming Control, aka Wrestling the Remote Back. Here's what's ahead. Module 1, Understanding what's going on, Module 2. Breaking the loop, Module 3. Reclaiming control, that's this one. Module 4. Updating your inner voice, Module 5. Looking forward even when you don't feel like it. Each module builds on the last. Keep going. Healing is possible. Thank you for showing up today. I mean really showing up. That's no small feat when you're exhausted, heavy-hearted, or just trying to make it through the day without crying into your cereal. Thank you for taking this brave step forward. In this moment, you've chosen to open your heart and soul to healing, to growth and transformation. This is the beginning of a continuous journey, one of deep inner peace, empowerment and renewal. You own this journey now, and every step you take is a step towards reclaiming your true strength and light. I'm honored to walk beside you as you embrace the path ahead.